Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy Walking Mandu. Welcome back to Wrenchtrenchers Garage. And today, as you can see, the Z is still in the shop. I still got some work to do on it. I've been looking for a new Speedo cable and they're pretty expensive, and as of right now, I gotta be pretty honest with you guys, I'm pretty doggone broke right now. So the old Speedo is going back in. I did test it. It works. It is a little floppy. I think you saw that on the last segment or video, and I don't even know where I'm at with this thing right now. I'm just freaking recording, and hopefully I can edit all this together to make some sort of sense of the chaos that's going on in the shop. Anyhow, so I'm not going to be doing that right now. I probably will do it some point today, but I'm not doing that now. What I am going to be doing is messing with this guy right here. As you can see, I have borrowed a battery charger from Mr. Gunn. I didn't even know he had one of those. Well, I did know he had one. I just forgot that he had one. So we're putting a little charge on this thing. It's been charging for about 45 minutes. As I don't know if you recall from the last video, the problem that I actually had with this thing was that I didn't have a good enough ground to it, and then I had a couple of the wires kind of mixed up on the solenoid. So now it finally cranks. But I think you also remember that I was not getting any oil pressure as well, which really sucked. And on top of that, the silly belt would not stay on. So I'm going to try to remedy as much of that as I can today. And just to show you where I started up. Basically what I ended up doing is making a ground wire hub directly from the negative portion of the battery cable. So I made that, and then I ran this cable down through the wheel well, down through here. It's connected to the engine block somewhere down there. I have a much nicer ground for the block, and I also still have the original ground over here for the block. So the block is going to be grounded correctly now, so it should still crank no matter what after this battery is nicely charged. As far as curing the belt situation, after going to the Vortec website, they said that it may be necessary to add or subtract washers, so I went ahead and added a little washer right here, and then I'm going to have to remove that guy down there in order to get everything lined up and fit on there, and then we're going to see if it decides it wants to keep kicking off the belt or not. But before I even put a belt on there, before I do any of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of the spark plugs out. It was recommended on a forum that I went on that you could take all the spark plugs out to get the motor to spin a little faster, and it should start sucking up the oil to give you some oil pressure. Because I did test the oil pressure gauge, I tested the oil pressure sender, the new sender, by grounding this wire here, whatever was exposed from the wire there. I went ahead and grounded that, and it actually worked. So it did send a signal to the oil gauge. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all this out, and I'm going to see if I can actually build some oil pressure in here, because I really don't want to start it dry. I don't really want to take that risk. But then there's other people that were on the forums that are saying just start it, run it for a few seconds, and if it doesn't build pressure, shut it down, and then you shouldn't tear anything up. However, I'm going to do everything I can to keep this thing from getting bad. So, without further ado, I'm going to go and start pulling these plugs out, and then I'll get back with you. So, I'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, so the battery's charged. I took all the plugs out. I tried disconnecting the relay for the fuel pump, but for some reason I can't really find it. But I don't really care. Alright, so everything's out. There's no belt on there. There shouldn't be zero tension. There should be a fully charged battery. We're gonna see if we can turn this thing over and try to get some oil pressure. So let's see what happens. That's what we got. Alright. And there we go. We got oil pressure, baby. And we got it. Heck yeah. I am so glad that we got oil pressure. I'm ecstatic. That's fucking cool. Excuse my language, but that's fucking cool, man. I'm so glad that I don't have to pull the pan off. So we're gonna start putting shit back together. Excuse me. I'm gonna cuss because you know what? I'm happy and I'm excited. So we're gonna start putting stuff back together. And I can smell gas, and I'm pretty sure that's because I didn't cut anything off, and that's the gasoline coming out of the spark plug holes. But I don't care. I don't freaking care. We got oil pressure. We're good. I'm happy. I'm gonna start plugging things back in, cleaning stuff up, and man, we're gonna be ready to fire. We are gonna be ready to fire this thing. Gotta keep going. See you guys in a bit. Okay guys, I do apologize because I got so excited that I just kind of kept working and working and I didn't turn on the camera. But I'll show you where I'm at. I ended up routing the belt, and right behind that tensioner, you can see back there, I put a little washer in there. And guess what? I cranked it over a few times and the belt is still on. So I may have cured my belt problem, which is good. I'm not going to hook up the supercharger just yet. However, I am going to hook up all the intake stuff. And you know what? I think it's about time to kind of fire this thing and see what we got. But for right now, I'm going to, since I ran out in the battery a little bit, doing a lot of cranking and checking for the oil and make sure the belt wouldn't fall off and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and use the old charger for like another 20-30 minutes on this thing just to give it a fullest charge that I can find. And while that's happening, I'll be putting on the rest of this intake slash, supercharger stuff. And then, man, we should be ready to try to fire this thing. I mean, I'm really excited now. This is like getting really close to go time. So, oh, and by the way, I bought some power steering fluid as well. Now I'll be adding that shortly. So, there you go. I'm gonna go ahead and put the intake stuff back on. You've seen it before, so I'm just gonna throw it on, and then when he gets here, we're gonna try to fire this thing. See if I can't get that on some video. So, see you in a bit. We're gonna try first starting this thing. Let's see what we got. Yes, no, maybe. What are we gonna do? Oh. Unfortunately, that's a fail for us right now, guys, but it's okay. Gonna go troubleshoot this. I'll be back. Okay guys, so what I have now is, I think I've kind of cracked the case on why this belt keeps slipping off. And since hopefully you've seen on the phone video that I posted up on Instagram, I'm going to go ahead and place that in this video as well. That we got it running. We got it to actually start and kind of run. It didn't idle, but that's fine. I just needed it to run, and we'll worry about the idling shortly after we fix this belt issue. However, I think I figured out what it is, and looking down in here, you can see the small scribe mark that I had here. Because at one point when it was on the engine stand, I made this scribe mark because this bracket caused me trouble getting the tensioner bracket on. So I realized after I had the tensioner bracket on, you can see right there that there is a groove right there. And that's because I tightened this thing on before I cut this bracket here, and it's keeping this bracket from setting flush. It sits flush on that stud, which aligns the tensioner for the rest of the tensioner for the belt. So my theory is I'm gonna go ahead and cut that piece like I was supposed to do the first time, which I didn't because I was a dumbass about it. So I'm gonna cut this piece here, and then we're gonna put this on, and hopefully it'll sit flush, and we shouldn't have a problem with the belt falling off. So let's try that. I'm just recording and recording and recording, and I know you guys haven't heard from me in a little while, and I do apologize for that, but I've been working, I really have. And you know what I'm gonna do is let's go ahead and start you with this. Oh yeah, that bad boy looks good. Fans on. I just gotta go ahead and put the lower radiator hose on, and I tell you what, this thing starts up on the dime, and I still gotta put the timing together, so I don't want to keep starting it without it being timed properly. So that's gonna be I think that's gonna be the next thing I'm gonna end up doing. Just going ahead and putting some coolant in there, putting the hoses on, and then getting this thing timed. We're gonna try to work on that today. So that's where I'm gonna go with it, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so I went ahead and we got some coolant down in there. We got some coolant down in the bottle, down in there at the correct level for cold. We got it. I don't know if you can see that, but let's see. You see right down there. But yeah, we got coolant on there. We're good. Let's go ahead and fire up. Cheap ass timing gun. So we're gonna hook this up. We're gonna fire it up, and then you're going back on that GoPro right there. guys, I got it timed as close as I possibly could. It still needs some tuning, but she's coming along. Sounds pretty good. Little bit rough on idle, but there is a big cam in there, so he said it probably should be smoother than that, but quite honestly, I think it's supposed to sound this damn mean. The engine does rock a little bit, but it smooths out when you give it gas. And then settles back into idle. I got it set at 30 degrees, which is about right. I mean, they may need to do a little bit here and there but when they go to the tuning shop, they'll go ahead and adjust it. But other than that, I think she's about ready to go. Now, for some stupid reason, I'm not getting oil pressure again. Even though I know there's oil pressure because the car's been running. It would have locked up a long time ago. But I don't know, something's going on with the oil pressure. Maybe the guys from the tuning shop can mess with that. But I think my work is about done right here. I'm just waiting for it to get up to operating temperature. See what we got. Still a bit cold. Looks like it's kind of just hovering down in the cool mark. I don't know. Maybe it's because there's no hood, or who knows. But I'm going to wrap this one up right here, guys. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Don't forget about the Zazzle store. And you guys, don't forget, keep wrenching. Wrench, trench out. Peace.